솔직히 어떤 팀이든 다 대회에서 경기 결과에 나왔듯이 초반에 진짜 거의 다 이기는 경기가 많았는데 네, 초반에 특히 강한 팀이라고 생각하고 있고 그리고 그 이후에 중반부터가 플레이가 경기 때 대회 때 되게 안 좋게 나왔는데 앞으로는 이제 초반만 센 팀이 아니고 그냥 잘하는 팀 될 수 있을 것 같아.
And they're trying to prove it right now.
That's the story that we've been telling for weeks.
I'm glad Ninja realized that he's living it too.
They improved dramatically.
Yes.
On the early and late game. In the last one, really nice snowball that they were able to accomplish. And now we found ourselves in this Game 3 scenario. So
Exactly.
they have a chance at taking down FlyQuest, which would be a huge part of them digging their way out of kind of the hole at the beginning of the season that they dug themselves into.
Absolutely. Third and final game. The decider actually beginning right now as Champ Select begins. FlyQuest came into the day in third place. Envy came in dead last. And right now, Envy have a chance to, once again, slightly edge over Liquid as they own the head-to-head right now. FlyQuest would fall down and meet Phoenix 1 and CLG in a big old tie for 3-4-5, and maybe it gets a bit better from there.
All right, so back to the standard bats from Team Envy and Camille and Jace on the ban list here for FlyQuest. I do think that this is better for FlyQuest because when they tried to have balls on Vladimir, it didn't really work out. And they tried to have balls the last game. They had balls on Camille and they sent him all these Twisted Fate ganks. They put so much into, let's build him up into being this great split pusher. And they weren't able to really even convert a top lane lead off of that. Not to mention a game lead, not to mention that's how they
turret. They got nothing.
They thought they wanted to win the game through that side of the map, but they weren't even able to win that side of the map. Plus, they lost the bottom side also pretty heavily.
Equal amounts of pressure from Lyra. They actually smashed bot lane, and we'll see if FlyQuest can recoup from that. Will correct what I said earlier. They would not drop them to a tie with CLG and Co. There's still a match wins ahead of them, but the early pick bands coming through with the Graves on the one side, Kha'Zix on the other. This time, though, Rumble grabbed up for Envy, so they won't have one damage type problems, but more of the comp to still grab.
All right, Seraph on the Rumble this time around. He's going to be...
Nice! They grab it early.
Whoa!
They don't want to ban away in phase 2. They rush for the Mord Nautilus. This team is convinced that bot lane is good regardless of matchup.
So the Malzahar first ban was something that just kind of slipped by and could have been a tip-off that they wanted to do this super early on because that was the one thing in that game that was giving them a little bit of problems. And, you know, they did end up giving up that double kill first couple kills in the bottom lane as the Nautilus Mordekaiser into the Malzahar, but they banned it away this time.
Wow.
That was Team Envy's first pick.
Sivir as the counter pick. So I used to play a lot of Mordekaiser back, like post-rework, and I feel like I didn't really like Sivir into Mord because he didn't really have the space to actually wave clear without being in threat range. I know he wants to wave clear to keep Mordekaiser off his turret and whatnot, but I feel like you'd rather play a Caitlyn or even a Ziggs to keep the lane pressure. I'm a little bit surprised by the Sivir pickup for the matchup, honestly.
To keep Mordekaiser off of his turret?
Well, like, because Mord Nautilus is going to, like, auto-push you, right? And you're going to be knocked into your turret if you don't play very aggressive lane. Like, Jhin can't handle Mordekaiser push, right? So, like, I understand not going for Jhin, but I would rather see, like, a Caitlyn or a Ziggs, where you can attack him every time he tries to last hit. You can push him off. You can... Because Mord has to be in melee to do anything. And Sivir can't punish the way a Ziggs or a Caitlyn could.
And honestly, the Nautilus Mord lane pushing up, like, it doesn't, like, accomplish a bunch of tower damage or anything, so we'll see though. If they do combine it here with a Karma, they do have a decent amount of harassment. And,
it's not bad.
And they can attempt at pushing Nautilus and Mordekaiser deeper into their own territory and you know, poking them under their turret.
It does give you advantage outside the laning phase where you can just outmaneuver the slow, hulking base move speed team, and so maybe not for the lane, but for the team, but I can see where Sivir Karma does start showing its power. And Rumble especially can just burn everyone down throughout a team fight. So there are some strengths here that fit against the comp. What the heck is going on? Okay, it's Nautilus top and Blitz bottom. It's even crazier.
Let's go.
What's even going on now?
What's going on is we've entered a Hook City, Nautilus and Blitzcrank. So you talk about speed, trying to stick your keep away and kite away from these slow hulking
Bring
guys.
you to me.
Well, they've got a couple of grabs and hooks now to pull you in.
Oh man.
And Nautilus Ultimate to make sure that they'll have one person that they can at least try and lock down with that to opened up for picks. And then they even rounded out with an Orianna.
All right.
With some good AoE to really cement their team fighting here. So it will depend on Team Envy using the speed from Sivir and Karma to dodge hooks.
Yeah. I mean, it's really going to test Team Envy's mettle. FlyQuest have a lot of it on their lineup, and Rye's going to run this one out. Actually, a last pick, Rise, that's been left up and available. Kobe shakes his head because that choke was great. And we are into the end of Champ Select as the Karma Rise will switch positions. Otherwise, they mostly grab their own champions. This is going to be a fun one.
I mean, it is going to be all about their speed because the lockdown they only have the Rise Prison as far as lockdown. And technically, you can use Karma Tether as one, but it's a bit dangerous for her. So only single target lockdown here from Team Envy to try and keep people on a Rumble Ultimate, but a lot of dodging that they're going to have to do to keep away from the engagement of FlyQuest.
Yep. Well, we know Sivir can spell shield the Blitz hooks, and it's not that easy to remove her spell shield. There's not a lot of great poke options from FlyQuest, but yeah, the Karma and the Rise and the Kha'Zix can all be killed off pretty easily.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, Sivir can spell shield. All the other champions are also pretty decent targets. Even though Rumble can, Flame Spitter and Zhonya's when he gets pulled in, doesn't want to be stuck in there.
Yeah.
We'll see though, because this is definitely going to be another one of the exciting, brawly team games here.
It's going to be a fun one to watch for as Champ Select ends, and we can see the champions and all their players. And FlyQuest continue to bring new innovations. I think it's got to be the first Blitzcrank of the year. I don't remember seeing him from any other teams. No one's really playing the champion. I can check in a minute, but it's going to be a fun one.
Half of the screen, the pictures there for FlyQuest members too are all smirking.
Yeah, they're all pretty happy about how this game is going to go for them. And we are into the third and final game of the series, and it's a fun one. FlyQuest sitting in about third place, Envy in last, and Envy would love to move up the standing with this one if they can do so. But Mordekaiser blitzcranked the bot lane. It was Nautilus in game one, now it's Blitzcrank alongside it. FlyQuest certainly did their homework the last couple of weeks, and they brought out some new stuff for the new patch, the new week of games. It's gonna be fun to watch.
So I do like having these types of teams against, early assassin picks when you do see the Kha'Zix and stuff like that, because it makes Kha'Zix a lot less effective. Yeah, in the early game, he can still try and find isolated people, but aside from that, it does neutralize him quite a bit. Now, Seraph could absolutely destroy this game. Rumble Ultimates against teams, like you said, these slow, hulking bruisers, can be devastating, especially in small jungle corridors. So with top lane, last game I would definitely say Seraph played better than Balls, even with so many visits from high. If FlyQuest, lose sight of the top lane and Seraph creates his own advantages up there in a 1v1 if they're left alone, Rumble into Nautilus, he would be able to create his own advantages if left alone.
Yeah.
That could be problematic for FlyQuest as you transition into, Infernal Drake once again.
Whoa, that's not what Hakuo wanted. Hooked into the wall, and well, at least he's able to flash away and stay alive, but now half HP Karma makes the landing phase more difficult. I looked it up.
Small ones. Oh! Ninja got one. Seraph got none. One.
All right. 10 gold for Seraph. Yeah, it's got to feel pretty decent. Kha'Zix is going for the Wolves start now. There was one Blitzcrank game earlier this year. It was played in the LCL, which is the CIS region, and it did win, but certainly the first NA Blitzcrank of the year. We'll see how it goes. You can see, of course, the double melee team, they have to play on the defensive, and I think they did not do Raptors this time.
Start for the bottom lane? Yeah, or else they would have level 2.
I think, unless I'm missing something. Yeah, the Raptors are up, I checked.
So they didn't go for the AoE clear because this time around, Blitzcrank in the bottom lane. Blitzcrank can't help much with killing those things, and they felt like it would take too long, plus take too much damage. But they also, remember, pulled an early hook onto Hakuo. So they have a summon spell advantage down here. And Hakuo, you can tell he's playing behind Apollo now. Not only because Apollo can spell shield, but also no flash on Hakuo.
He's instantly dead.
He's got to watch out for early gank pathing down to the bottom side of the map.
Yep. Moon, of course, was known to start towards the enemy Raptors. They can kind of infer some of his gank pathing, but now 3 minutes in, he can be almost anywhere he wants to. Right now, that's him clearing down into the bot side of FlyQuest's own jungle, so Moon can react to bot lane plays and he can react to mid lane plays.
And as far as keeping track of the CS, I haven't seen Lemon Nation take a CS that wasn't a Relic CS. So I think we can just consider that he's playing it optimally and
15 out of 19 right now.
Exactly. Try and keep them that way. But again, it will be a little bit difficult. We'll probably should just look at gold totals. That's clear. That's very clear. And yeah, keep track that way. Yep. No discrepancy here.
Nice little chunk on elimination. Gets auto attack quite a bit, and looks like they've done a good job of getting away from all the hook pressure. I mean, this lane is basically a 2v1 if Lemon can't cast anything. And with that in mind, the Silver Karma does have lane priority right now.
Yeah,
we'll see if anything can turn around later.
Decent job of sustaining here. Meanwhile, junglers, delayed clears for both of them, so it's a little bit slower since Lyra had to start the Wolves all by himself, and it was kind of mixed bag there as far as the early Raptor invade went, with almost everybody coming away with one small one. Moon is now making his first real offensive move up to the top side while this bottom play is going on.
And you can see how they're playing around that. Elimination looks for the hook, looks for the power fist, can't get anything onto Apollo, but now here comes the top lane gank. Seraph is very pushed up, Courage Shield pop, and he's gonna run down towards the Tri-Brush to flash the wall, takes the turret shots anyway. He fails the flash. Moon maybe didn't have to do that at all.
Definitely didn't have to do that, I'll confirm.
Didn't have to.
Didn't have to, but the Seraph flash attempt there, yeah, that was a fail flash. What he was trying to do is get to the small area of that wall so you can flash and it pushes you over to the corner, and then he was thinking maybe he could gain distance in Blast Cone. But that was a failed flash, so
what a good ward.
But that was what he was attempting to go for there.
That ward right there is actually a very smart one, knowing their jungler's top side, Lyra might try to steal, and in fact, yep, that's what he's doing. They make him jump the wall, but now he can only flash to get away if they can make this fight work any better. But of course, High's in a 1v2.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's able to walk away.
Ninja threatening to come down to answer the roam as well. And in the end, Lyra actually just has bottom lane missed some CS for it. But this is what I was talking about. If FlyQuest didn't keep their eyes on this lane, Seraph would be able to create his own advantage. We'd be able to push him in and get harassment. He's too far. Yeah, exactly. Right there you can see he's too far from the thin area of the wall. You have to get down to almost that little flame before you try and flash over it. But yeah, that was his plan, was to try and get to the Blast Cone. Fails the flash, gives up his death. Now he's flashless in this top lane matchup. Has to be even more careful. So we might see Balls actually even this CS up, and depending on how defensively Seraph wants to play.
And Balls has flash. They can go for big play. Ninja maybe going to try to react to this. He's trying to stay out of vision of the controller, but I think he just walked into it. Either way, they know he did roam. Seraph kills the ward himself, and Seraph still has the farm lead, so it's another game where they're ganking Seraph, but he's still winning the lane, it feels.
Well, that's because of the matchup
sure.
Rumble and pushing, but this is another opportunity where now they see Rise back in lane, and as you said, Balls has multiple forms of CC. Looks like Moon is actually very indecisive about this. Maybe if Seraph shows, he'll actually spot it here, but Seraph does a pretty good job of navigating his flashless time up here on the top side, and actually just uses up a bunch of Moon's time. So that's not only good for Seraph, but good for Lyra as well.
As you can see from that stat, 2 years since the last Blitzcrank in the North American LCS. Welcome back, buddy.
I wonder who it was.
I don't know. Yeah, might have been when it was Sheep, apparently.
Confirmed it was Sheep.
Thank you.
The only other one I remember is Daydreaming Miles Blitzcrank, and he uses a Blitzcrank pull to get someone out of a dark passage in the middle of a Thresh Lantern going through. That was a highlight play from
13 or 14?
I think 13, yeah. Going way back, but here we go, bottom lane party. Everybody from Envy is collapsing. You can see the red circles.
Yeah. Seraph can't join, Balls can't either, so it's going to be the 4v4 at bats. There we go, the hook in. Look at the burst damage. Ninja's gone at the very start, and Altec is tanking the front lines with his pet Rise as the other one has fallen. Oh, baby.
I was like, wait a second, did they even up the numbers? There was a teleport?
Yes.
No, that's a Mordecai.
Kind of.
Now you're on my team. Red Rover. Send Ninja on over. He runs into the 3-man squad, instantly pops, And all of a sudden, it's a 4v3 for the other side, and now we get a Drake Ghost instead of this.
Yeah, they're gonna turn Ninja into a dragon. He's evolved now. It's his final form.
Let that be a lesson to you. Flanking three. Basically, Graves to me is like almost a melee champion because the closer you get, more damage
a bunch of burst guys.
he's gonna do. Trying to flank a 3-man squad like that, all grouped up. Numbers definitely play a part of it, and Ninja just walks right into that burst. Really good pull again from Lemonation. Hey, NA Blitzcrank, 100% accuracy rate so far.
There you go.
But man, what a play gone wrong there for Envy as they attempt to collapse on bottom side, and then this dragon is just annoying Ninja after the fact. But I wasn't even
That's obnoxious.
Walks right into him, and Ninja, and then Lyra's like, oh. Yes, that was a poor decision by us.
Maybe I shouldn't face check and control ward against 3 champions. Maybe it's bad as a ranged champion.
Exactly. Here's the thing. Yeah, if you're bringing down 2 groups of 2, you want to pincer them with 2 groups of 2, right?
Yeah.
If they turn on you, you're the one at the disadvantage. It's a 3-man squad you're trying to pincer here.
Yeah.
And that's what Focus Fire will do for you. So good job there by FlyQuest.
All right, well, look at this one. 800 gold lead for FlyQuest, 2-0 the overall scoreline. A gank in top lane and a returned gank in the bot lane, I suppose. 2-level lead for Altec individually is
A feed in the bot.
yeah, an int slightly. Unfortunate there, but it happens. And okay. Let's see what Morgan FlyQuest can get out of this one.
Regardless, though, what we were trying to set up before that was how Envy are setting up for these opportunities where they're going to come around and flank you. They've got deep vision on both sides. They're trying to track Moon. They're trying to create these numbers advantage plays. The problem is, once you have that numbers advantage, you have to use it all at once in a more optimal manner than that to actually get anything out of it. And the wards are starting to time out. Now only the pink ward and then the blue side, blue quadrant ward there are left for Envy. So their vision advantage even is starting to run out. Seraph gets hooked in. A little bit of harassment on his way back to base.
Alrighty, well, we'll see what they can get out of this one as Seraph is just going to ult, and now he'll recall. He wanted to get a faster one. It's always good to recall in front of a cannon wave because it takes so long to push it. You don't usually lose as much because the push is still happening as you're walking back. In this case, he has to ult to clear it away. As he gets the later recall, he didn't want to recall that late into the wave, of course. And Moon spots Lyra in the jungle, both level 8, trades the wards, and here comes the mid lane pressure.
All right, gotta watch out for the hook.
Yes, lands it into the hook, into perfect CC layering. There's no way out. He didn't have flash. There was no way to get away from that.
3 for 3, Lemon Nation on hooks. One of them was a melee range hook, but we'll count it.
Yeah, and this one followed off CC. I mean, he's landing the ones you pretty much can't miss as long as you have a mouse, and so far so good. Lemonation is getting him.
Really big push, though. That was softened up by the Dragon Ghost, by the way. Remember, we had some footage of him harassing the turret, making life hard for Ninja. And then they come over here, really good roam by the bottom lane. That's that pushing you talked about of the Mordekaiser Blitzcrank. They shove out the bottom lane. That roam mid really breaks open the map with mid turret going down, whereas previously, and still, this vision here, this control ward for Envy has stuck around for a while.
Haha!
Finally.
Lemon removes the swag ward.
Die. With that mid turret going down, the tide should be turning here as FlyQuest have a lot more room to work with, and Lemon Nation can go through, try and set up more wards for more of those hooks and more of these picks to land for FlyQuest, even in Envy's own jungle.
Absolutely. You see Seraph not having the easiest time pushing balls back as a couple hundred HP goes the way of Nautilus, and it is a game that's kind of slipping away from the red team.
Yeah, now that, after the early gank where, Balls was able to get a kill and all the early influences on the top side to kind of even up that matchup, now he's up to plenty of magic resist. He has the extra regeneration from his cowl, and he's feeling just fine about it. Seraph's big impact is going to have to come in the team fights, and we'll still keep our eyes on those Rumble Ultimates for the team fights because they could make life very hard for these low-range champions of FlyQuest.
And they're mostly buying armor. You're seeing like an aggressive build out from Moon. He's getting Zerk Greaves, Ninja Tabby out of Altec, Ninja Tabby out of Lemonation. Like, they are not counter building the Rumble except for specifically balls. And so, yes, Seraph, right, he's got the Haunting Guys, the Rileys, or the Ambience is far away. It definitely can get scary quickly We'll see if those team fights start going well, but it's a 3,000 gold difference. It's one that Envy will have to claw back from.
Again, opposite sides of the map pressured here. FlyQuest sending everybody down bottom to push the turret. And Envy were making a feint up towards the top side, but with balls backing off of the wave and not showing, it looks like both top laners, or both lanes that are on the weak side, are actually just gonna back out in time, and we have no casualties.
Yeah, for the turret on one side.
Yeah,
Balls is actually smashing the 1v1 right now, doing a ton of damage into Sarah, forcing the flash. He lands the hook, he kills him. He's gonna actually walk through the fire and flames, lands the E, and it's gonna be the kill coming through. Didn't have to Dragon Force that one, just takes him down 1v1, and now Ninja on the roam.
The
Nautilus
solo kill on a Rumble. Not only did Balls back off and dissuade the Envy dive on him on top side, or even the push for the turret, he gets a solo kill on the weak side of the map. His team gets 2 turrets on the strong side of the map. That is an absolute travesty for Team Envy. This is the worst last 2 minutes that could possibly have happened. It's an Infernal Drake to boot.
Yeah.
So it's 2 turrets, a solo kill, an Infernal Drake, and a Dragon Ghost out of that Infernal Drake.
What is Seraph TPing in there for? He just TP'd in front of a bunch of people.
It's party time. Here comes Balls as well.
It's a blanket party for Seraph. He just walks in. Look at that hook, though. Shockwave is in. Lemonation sets it up 5-0. And this is the make of a perfect game right now for FlyQuest. No turrets, no drakes, no kills given up. 50 minutes in, a complete shutout against Envy.
Mordekaiser are going to be a 100% win rate, it looks like, for NALCS as well as Blitzcrank. If FlyQuest keep pushing like this, and they do.
Hook in on Alira. Goodbye to Kazuki. He's able to leap away. All right, the cowardice works out.
Where's the hook number 2? Elimination low on mana, and FlyQuest are going to back off because all those things we just listed, they even got another turret after that, so that is so much money for them to go back and purchase. Plus, all these drakes are Infernal Drakes. Like, this is snowballing out of control. This is one of the most insane snowballs you can look for, but here we go. And again, Lemon actually
that's so sick.
Looking for the prediction, gets it, and this time he's the one who sets up high with the Shockwave. And they find the kill there. Whew.
Ninja thought he could dodge it. He flashed after the hook, not before, and he thought, I'm juking to a random direction. You're not going to predict this, and
not so random. He was up against the wall.
Yeah.
So basically 2 choices for him to go, and he went and ran in the direction he was already running from, which is where you predict someone to run from. When you're going through in your mind, trying to look through the dodge patterns of your enemies, the most likely one is usually away from people, basically away from imminent danger.
Yeah.
And he tries to run away from the approaching people.
Well, his juke was toward the lane, actually. It was actually towards high. And the
away
hook was away from the wall.
Away from the champions.
Towards
Towards the opposite tower. But regardless, it's a huge snowball here for FlyQuest. Let's see if they can keep it up, because that has been one of their strengths, actually. If it's not a huge, risky Baron call where they actually throw, they've been quite good at actually snowballing their leads. They did have, I believe last week was one of the only weeks where they
were really throwing it Baron.
had a pretty poor showing in that area, but generally this team has had pretty good conversion of early leads.
Yep, I would tend to agree. We'll see if they can get more out of this one. The top lane siege is now in. Mid and bot have already lost both, so not many other places to go. It was actually a pretty Rift Herald heavy series, actually. We had one last game, and we got one here as well. It helped Seraph win his 1v1. This time it's going to help, I think, Moon in battling anyone he wants to. I mean, Graves can be a great duelist.
It also, I get kind of tilted when people see the jungler take it and they get mad that the top laner's not getting it, or some split pusher's not getting it. It's also good for jungler. Like, it actually just
it helps you clear jungle.
Clear speed.
Yeah.
So definitely good there, and not useless on the Graves, even though he will team fight mostly with the rest of the squad.
Sure. But it's worth pointing out that the on-hit damage charges up when you're alone, but you get to carry it into a fight.
You can have one burst.
Right. Your first hit will still work. Your damage reduction doesn't do anything. Okay, fine. But you do get the first chunk if you gank with it. So, yeah, it really is better than some people give credit for on a jungler. We're seeing Ninja now try to play the split push game on that Rise. But thankfully for Balls, he's already built MR because he's fighting Rumble, so he's okay in the 1v1.
Yeah. And for Team Envy, you know, we got to look at it from their side once again, because they really wanted this win, you know. Sitting back down in 10th and having that resurgence in last game gave them a decent amount of confidence. Right now, though, they're trying to bank on, they're the ones, the table is basically turned, they're the ones banking on farm for late, because they do have Sivir, who can get some really good AoE damage that can cut through a lot of these short-range members for a team fight, and they do have the Rumble, who can, you know, slow them down and then set them up. Start melting them for that, but they're just so far behind in gold and so far behind in Drake power with 2 Infernals. It makes it so difficult for Envy to get to the point where it matters. Sivir needs 2 more items probably before she even matters. Right now she doesn't even matter in these team fights pretty much at all. She really just wants to continually clear out waves for another 15, 20 minutes, and FlyQuest aren't letting her do that.
Elimination misses a hook. I'm sorry, buddy. 100% participation gone now. The leap got him away from this one, but you're right, it's going to be a long road ahead, and Inferno Drake, as you're mentioning it, is so good at snowballing games.
A third one coming up in a minute, too.
I know. And FlyQuest are playing around the bot side of the map. It's where all their wards are right now. I mean, there's really no chance that Envy sneak a Baron. They don't kill it fast enough, and so Envy just kind of playing control, hoping to close one out. They've pretty much got the tools they need to. They've even got another ranged champion this time with High playing this Orianna.
I mean, normally we would say, okay, FlyQuest, they would be coming up against some roadblocks as they try and finish off the siege and siege inhibitor turrets, because it's kind of difficult for that comp to. Yeah, maybe High can get in there for an auto or 2 randomly, but for the vast majority of them are going to have a hard time actually sieging if Envy could wave clear with, you know, Sivir, Rumble, Rise taking turns with Karma, but it just isn't at the point right now where it's gonna matter, because FlyQuest can just steamroll straight through. They can control all the neutral objectives, another Infernal, then a Baron. Like, just it's almost an untenable situation for Envy to contest anything out on the map at this point.
Yeah.
Even though you don't want to give away a Baron to allow this comp to, you know, steamroll through with one of the Dragon Ghosts, it's so difficult to justify putting yourself out there. Maybe Envy will go for a Miracle Steal and try to huddle that way, and, you know, hope that they can Baron up their minions. But FlyQuest actually aren't even going for it. They're just going to use the Drake as you know, turret nullifier to try and tank and push through that way.
Yeah. Envy's comp isn't even that good at like making Miracle comeback phase. It's not like you've got, you know, Shockwave into you know, Nautilus ult.
You gotta rely on your stakes.
It's just you just have damage tools. And if you're behind in stats, you don't do more damage than your opponent. Hook's gonna land on the Ninja, and that's gonna be a flash. Getting away from Blitzcrank, still a 1-for-0 as far as turrets are concerned. More picked up on the map. FlyQuest still in position for a perfect game. They've got low health, but none of them have died. They have not lost anything meaningful all game.
Good old Drake Ghost.
Yep, zoning out Envy by itself. A nice, well-trained pet. Oh, doesn't count. Drake kills don't count. Still a perfect game. All tech, you're not making me a liar on this one. And Envy actually just unable to find their way in on this one.
Fly Dragon number 3 goes down. But his life was served, taking down the inhibitor, and there's no reason they should slow down at all. Lemonation's actually already looking for hook picks. That's still definitely a good option for them, as they have balls as well. Split pushing on the bottom side, slowly but surely. Nautilus making his way towards the bottom side inhibitor turret as well.
And the siege continues, the split push continues. FlyQuest just controlling the map, and I keep checking the vision. And honestly, Envy are keeping wards up. The problem is they're never really revealing the parts that matter. For the last 6 minutes, they were controlling topside jungle, but FlyQuest were playing for the Drakes, and now they've got all these wards in the bottom jungle, but Baron's gonna be the next objective, and Hakuho kind of has to go by himself, and that one ward's gonna time out, and he's gonna try to get a bit up, but the ward line is just a little bit pitiful right now for Envy. There's only so much they can do without any lane control. And they just continue to wait for some kind of hopeful throw that's unlikely to happen.
Well, FlyQuest, they talked about practicing these unorthodox champions and seldom seen champions heavily the week before in their scrims. And it's definitely paying off here. It was banned out last game, but both games that they've gotten it, even first time around, though, they gave up first blood, first two kills.
And you can see this is actually really smart. They had to use a Scryer's Loom to reveal Baron because the control ward shut down the other ward. They had no idea if it was actually being taken, even though that ward was in the pit. It couldn't see anything. They're like, oh, what if they're doing it? We gotta use another trinket. There's another cooldown lost for vision.
And now all of their scrying orbs are on cooldown. They do not have Twisted Fate this time around, so there are no more tools they have to check it, and they just have to face check. So here they come face checking. They're running their way through to the blast cone.
It's all in darkness. Like, who face checked that? Who's even got skill shots? Who's got vision tools? Elimination waiting around. I mean, they're literally two-manning Baron right now.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. Moon was showing mid lane, so I mean, it's just
Good play, Moon. Way to go.
as we said. There's not many ways to justify Envy going for that, except that if you think literally the only chance for you to win the game is you go get a miracle steal and you make some crazy play happen while the enemy team's on Baron.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like the chance for success in that attempt is so low. Envy opt for trying to farm it out, trying to wave clear inside their own base. It will be very difficult as FlyQuest now are just looking to steamroll ahead. They have Nautilus with teleport ready, split push on bottom side, just group up 4-man, and they don't even have to rush it. They actually want to take it slow. Good job by Envy getting a
and
pick.
they're gonna pick off Elimination. Scumbag Lemon ruins the perfect game. One kill does go through to Team Envy. But can they even defend a 4v5? Looks like FlyQuest don't want to pull the trigger on this, and they'll wait.
Definitely buys them some time. That's really, really good for Team Envy. And that's one of the only mistakes there from FlyQuest that you can make, is someone being off by themselves, getting picked off. It's one of the only things that slows down the Stampede. It looks like they're still going to keep it up and keep the pressure going.
They're going for the play. They're going for the 4v5. Shotgun catches on the Hakuo only.
5v3.
Equalizer did nothing. It's now Moon getting caught out. Tries to kite away. The chase in for Seraph, but he can't kill it off. It's actually going to be Seraph going down himself. Altec flashing to stay out of range. Now Ninja out of summoners, looking for somewhere to do on this fight. Can't quite get it. Balls gets the kill picked off. The TP's into the spray, and now Apollo is stuck alone. Has to flash the wall. Barely survives it.
Balls on tanks, man. He is going off on the Nautilus. Teleports in. And once they get the Seraph Ghost up, no problems here for FlyQuest. They are going to be able to get inside the base again. Another inhibitor in their sights.
Kill leader in the game is the Nautilus top lane.
He's getting solo kills.
He's coming in like wrecking balls, killing absolutely everybody. Going in now for the top lane inhibitor. It's going to be the base completely cracked open. Mid was already dead. The question is, do they close it out here? The ghost of Seraph passed. Going to go back into the Mordecai. He's going to try again. Just kidding.
And let's go back to one of the most crucial parts of this game, especially for people who are just tuning in who are like, oh, I want to see some Mordekaiser. We'll go back after this team fight because Envy know they're not going to get a lot better situations than having a man advantage, plus someone split pushing, so FlyQuest would have to wait on teleport channel, so they try and go for the 5v3.
Yeah.
Pretty good turnaround there from FlyQuest, and they buy time for balls to teleport and get inside.
And crucially, it was a horrendous equalizer from Seraph. He aimed at the retreat path of Moon instead of just aiming at 4 people who were all grouped up. Like, that needed to be aimed better. That was actually a huge mistake, because that fight was probably a team fight win if he doesn't ult like a person without a mouse. I don't know. I didn't have a good description for what to call him.
Freak censored. Decided not
Other
to go
terms
for
could
it.
have been used.
Look, it is Fly Drake number 4 coming in hot.
So majestic.
He's going to be able to end out the game with the team, it looks like. Mid lane is actually going to be the target as they usher up the minions. They go for the exposed inhibitor. Oh no, he won't be able to end out the game with the team.
He got Rune Prison. He's trying. I'm coming, Altec. No! Rip Drake. Mid inhib goes down anyway. It just bought time for the team. He was a distraction. I'm going to call that Drake Timmy.
So sad.
Timmy the Drake fell
not
down well.
able to keep track of
His pet dragon. Altec does not care for his pets.
He
let Lemonation die. He let the Dragon die.
lived a good life, though. All right, let's see if we get any hooks on this last siege, because Envy,
I'm going to say yes.
they have no more options. They got to pull a trigger and hope it's a miracle turnaround here.
All right. Balls misses. Lemon, show him how it's done. The game is almost a formality at this point. 11,000 going in the lead. Lemon misses.
There they go. They're taking
the wave
turret.
clear. All right, Apollo has the wave clear, and actually, I would have generally said Static Shiver Rapid Fire Cannon would do better for wave clear, but with the Phantom Dancers doing enough. But now here comes round 2, and Apollo trying to knock it down. Can't kill it in time. Hook. Nice juke away by Apollo. 3 misses in a row. Can't quite get the engage yet for FlyQuest, but they have enough stats to keep walking forward. Watch out for the ball. Shockwave can kill anyone it lands upon. And third and final inhibitor will go down. The others were refreshed recently, so it's time for the flood of super minions into the base. And they're not going to reset. There's nothing else to grab on the map. Their health bars are high enough. Ultec at half is a little bit unfortunate, but it should still be okay. 3,300 gold Baron power play as they look to close it out amidst the wave clear. Envy do have some strong AoE. All of them have some decent minion killing tools on the side of Envy. All 5 really do.
Thing is, FlyQuest, all they have to do is just wait around here with their minions. And the Nexus turret slowly whittle down. Envy are going for it.
They want this one, and it's going to force FlyQuest away, and it's going to give some time. And unlike the previous game, it's a full minute and a half on Baron, so it's quite a long ways to wait. And this is the kind of duration where you're like, do we go back to mid to siege, or do we just wait a minute and a half for Baron? And it's up to High's choices here. The team will reset. Moon takes some of the camps away from the map, and otherwise you wait for the team to re-level. Top lane only 1 level apart, jungle 1 level apart, mid, bot, and actually Lemon's 1 level behind Hacker, who has been grouped with the team. So the level lead not that big. It's just the gold from all the kills and turrets.
And I was looking at the gold in the pockets of FlyQuest before, while they were all recalling. Everybody was over 1,200.
Yeah.
So they're all going to go purchase and then not waste any time, still get back into the base when they have the double lines of supers. And try and finish it out this way. Envy bought a little bit of extra time to farm, but I didn't see any items completed, so it won't make any combat difference.
Yeah, that's what was already done for Apollo, but it will help him cut through Balls and Altec, who have built quite a bit of armor themselves. And here comes the game-winning push. FlyQuest hopes, and we need to hold on to the series is gone, and they stay in last place. And here we go, turret number 1, double supers from every single wave. Decent equalize, the engage coming across, can't quite find the kills, but look at the pickoff. They've already grabbed 1, they're gonna grab more of this one. High just stays alive with the summoner heal, and there comes all the kills. The double for Altec's Mordekaiser, Apollo stuck inside on the fountain, and the turrets are gone. The game's gonna be over. FlyQuest gonna take this one home. The Ghost of Ninja to hold them back, and there's the GG. 2-1, FlyQuest take the win over Envy. Mordekaiser undefeated. And it's a series where, I mean, game 3 was a heartbreaker. Envy got nothing going in that one. Seraph started getting solo killed by Balls. Bot lane didn't have the pressure they did in the previous game. The other ones were closer, and you saw glimmers in game 1. Actually a good game 2 from Team Envy. It felt like something was getting better, but this is one where they had no control at all early, and then nothing happened. They got 1 kill. It was 1 kill away from a perfect game. That's how bad this game was for Envy.
Let's go back to that mid-game play where Balls on the weak side of the map for FlyQuest on this Nautilus backs up as he sees the members Envy, collapsing to try and take the turret.
Yep.
But then Envy actually didn't go for the trade in objectives. They didn't pressure that side and trade the turrets like we thought they were going to do. As FlyQuest is taking bottom with all the rest of their members, and then
He walks back in and solo kills him.
Balls just goes above and beyond, and he goes for the solo kill. Nautilus onto Rumble, gets it, and at that point, when you lose both sides of the map at the same time, which was 2 turrets, an Infernal Drake, a Mordekaiser Ghost, a solo kill for the Nautilus, and they didn't even lose their topside turret. Like, those are just way too many things to happen at like 15 minutes for you to be able to come back into that game.
And it was a well-played one by FlyQuest. So they did shake off the nerves, the rest, whatever it was from the previous week. Again, the thought coming out from every player I've talked to is that Envy are actually a pretty good team. and we saw them being a pretty good team
Saw
in
that in
game 1
game
and
2.
2. Yeah, I mean, game 2 was just a great one. Game 1, they couldn't hold on, but I think they got out-comped. Like, you can almost forgive the players for that one. It's like, well, crud, champ select is, it's if they don't screw up, it's an auto loss, and that's kind of what happened there. But, I mean, this was FlyQuest feeling good. And Moon, you actually saw it when he was kind of walking across the audience. I think he said his dad and his brother are here. Like, some of his family members are here to watch him play, and of course he gets a win in his first day of games. So that's good to see. He had the hugs from his family. I think that was his dad. I couldn't quite tell. And so, hey, that's good for Moon. You know, I think he had a pretty good set of games. He went unkilled in game 1, unkilled in game 3, was overall a pretty solid performer, and that's good to see, where he had looked really bad last week individually. Like, the Shaco was like 0-3-1 to start the game out, for example. So,
To be fair, this split has been an amazing split for Moon.
Yeah.
And his return to the LCS has been super successful, aside from
exactly
last
week
where
5.
They were
Otherwise, it was
definitely
good.
stumbling. But I just love this story of FlyQuest, and seems like every week they put a lot of time into last week, or this time it was 2 weeks, by the way, since they had IAM off as well, to practice these new sets of champions that no other team is using.
Yeah.
And we actually get to see it be successful this time, because when something like that comes out and you see the Shaco and they flop, and you're super disappointed.
And the mid-Jarvan flops.
Right, exactly.
Right.
When stuff like that comes out and flops, you're left with feeling a bit empty. But
What are these
with
guys
2
doing in
weeks
champ select? Those
of practice
idiots.
here, with their juggernaut bottom lane, they find success.
Yep.
And elimination in the last couple ones there.
Right.
He did miss a couple hooks.
Yeah.
But really high accuracy.
Yeah, really, really some beautiful stuff here. So grats to FlyQuest for a great win, a fun one to watch, a fun one to be a part of. But now for some additional insight into that series, let's check in with Zyrene, who's standing by with FlyQuest support.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Yes, here with Lemonation from FlyQuest. You guys are playing so much in terms of stuff that seems random. And I always pinned you as a meta drafter or a tier list drafter, where you would draft, what was powerful for the metagame. And now it just seems like Jarvan, Kindred, Evelyn, Blitzcrank, Mordekaiser, you guys are pulling stuff out. So have I just pinned you guys wrong, or what happened with your style in terms of draft?
Well, I think it's very important to be able to play the meta and always be able to play the top, tier champions. But I think at least the teams I've been on have always been kind of the first teams to pull out like new shit. And I think a lot of the time,
So you make your own meta.
I think that's important as well. Like, there's no way they have ever played against Mordekaiser, this team. They have no idea what to do against it, and it showed, so.
Well, that's sick. I want to ask you as well about your preparation coming into these matchups, because you guys went 0-2 in week 5, first time that the FlyQuest lineup had actually lost both of their matchups, and you guys had a break week. And I kind of, heard that you guys are a pretty chill team. You didn't really care about expectations or anything like that coming in. So what was your team philosophy on that break week, and how did you guys spend it?
Well, we definitely were playing badly in scrims before the 0-2 week, and even after we were playing badly for a while, but eventually we pulled it together for this weekend. So I think we are doing a lot better now than we have been in the past 3-4 weeks. And we took a few days off on the weekend, so that was nice.
Nice. So you guys actually got a weekend to yourself, and now you guys come back. You end up winning the first match here, looking for 2-0, but it's up against Cloud9 again. Last time didn't go the way that you guys wanted it to. So how do you think about that previous matchup against Cloud9, and what do you think about for this one coming up?
Cloud9 still looks extremely strong. Like, they also played badly last week. They went 0-2 as well, but I feel like they're going to be possibly the best team, so I think it's going to be really hard again. And last time we played them was really close, and I hope we'll be able to kind of pull it out and beat them. It'll be nice to play them again.
Yeah, absolutely. Up against your former lane partner in Sneaky. How do you think he's been playing recently?
I mean, Sneaky always plays pretty consistently, so yeah.
All right, well, good luck against Cloud9, and, now they've seen the Mordekaiser, so what else have you got? Hopefully, you guys end up taking that win for yourself. Thank you so much for the interview, Lemonation. And now we're going to throw it over to the desk to close that one out.
Thank you very much, Zyrene. FlyQuest coming away with another victory. Could have been hard fought on this one. We heard Lemon talking about how scrims were kind of back and forth before and even after the break week, but they moved themselves to 7-4, also in a week where they have to face Cloud9. So that's a good win to get there. Now they can focus on the next match. But looking at the team comp coming into this again, they actually drew a Mord ban. then were able to get it. FlyQuest doing their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about between Game 2 and Game 3, like, I don't know if that more ban was worth it. I guess FlyQuest showing that it was worth it in a sense, though I gotta say, in a sense, I didn't really like the draft overall. I didn't like the Nautilus early pick and then flexing it into a bad matchup against Rumble and then ending up with a super magic damage heavy team comp with a bunch of losing lanes.
Yeah, I generally thought that FlyQuest didn't have a great draft, and it largely depended on their bot lane being able to go even and their top lane getting pressure from Moon. And both of the things happened. Moon was able to flank, kill top lane, and then bot lane happened, and Karma blew Flash at level 1. And so they had no pressure like closing into tower.
But looking at how it should have worked, we see Envy's composition should have actually taken the lanes away from FlyQuest in the early game.
Right, and I think it was just a lot of mistakes on Envy's part where that, well, I don't know why your Karma is walking through mid-river to try and drop a ward on the enemy side. That's really dangerous to do versus a Blitzcrank. Generally speaking, the standard play versus the Blitzcrank is kind of ward up your entrances, make sure you can't cheese your jungler, hook camps away, that kind of annoying stuff, and then go to lane and bully him because he's not a great laner. The fact that they lose the flash on the Karma for no reason hurts a ton. You start losing out there, and then once again, once Seraph dies that first time, it gives Balls a lot of breathing room.
The game looked pretty good all the way up to 15 minutes. It was a perfect game, 5-0 at that point. We see Balls here, solo kills for himself, more play out for Fly as they just continue to take turrets. The team's on the bottom side of the map, and this is where FlyQuest kind of just had Envy run and scrambled. Fights in the top lane and turrets are just being given away.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on. Like the bot lane was resetting. Usually when someone's making a 3-man push onto your turret, you're doing something on the flip side of the map. Instead, it's Seraph getting soloed out by Balls, who I guess Seraph stayed too long, and then Envy decides, all right, instead of reacting to that push in the bot lane, we're gonna try and punish Balls going for that solo kill. So, you know, FlyQuest is going to be able to take 2 turrets while they fail to punish the Ball solo kill on the top side. Envy was just kind of a mess this game.
And remember what I said in the last analyst test portion about Envy? Like, it feels like their solo laners are very volatile in terms of like skill, and their solo laners started 0-5 this game.
Yeah, it was like what 0-2 top and like 0-3 mid or something.
Something crazy
like that. But I think you can give some you know, shade to the bot lane for the fact that they did lose that flash level 1 and then couldn't pressure the Blitzcrank Mordekaiser really at all.
Absolutely. So with that game coming to an end, honors of player of the game is going to go over to Balls on Nautilus with an honorable mention to Mordragon.
Yeah, I think
such a great job.
You might be able to give Mordragon a little bit more credit, but as it's not a champion or player in the game, it's kind of hard to really give him too much credit.
Maybe had some more impact than some champions in the game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Balls did play pretty well, survived the matchup, coordinated well with Moon, and then after that, the game was kind of a stomp, so you could really give it to a lot of members.
Yeah, it was almost a perfect game. Like, it's really hard to say because it means that the other team must have dropped the ball very hard.
And I kind of want to get you guys' take on what Lemon said in the beginning of that interview was, it is important to play the meta, but kind of how important when we see FlyQuest able to do these things, or Echo Fox kind of create their own as well?
I would say FlyQuest might be a little too far on the not playing the meta side. Like, this is getting a little crazy, but we've seen them play against FlyQuest and even TSM and C9. They played games where they played the meta and actually did really well. So I think they're showing that they can play the meta enough that this might be seen almost as an experimentation phase for them, where they're more concerned about finding out all these crazy things that can work. So when you head into a best of 5 against them, you have no idea what to do.
I think playing off meta is fine, but you just need a good plan to play off meta. Like, let's say your plan is to play off something like Fizz. Well, then let's make sure the mid lane matchup is really good, and that you have the support necessary to make Fizz go off.
And then you need like a wave clear AD carry or something.
Right. So when C9 played Fizz this season, they had the Shen top to cover the Fizz's initiation, and it was against a Syndra matchup, a really good matchup for Fizz. And I think those are like the necessary ingredients you need to make something off meta. A lot of times I feel like FlyQuest plays off meta to play off meta, and that's not necessarily the best thing I want to see.
Just seeing like if these ingredients work, if it does, it's a taster's choice. We'll bring it to dinner next time. Well, that wraps up this series, but there is one more, or there's more league action on the way, I should say. There's a few more. After the break, we return with Phoenix 1 versus Team Dignitas. Do not go anywhere.
Circle. Seraph can't join, Balls can't either, so it's going to be the 4v4 advance. There we go, the hook in. Look at the burst name, and Ninja's gone at the very start, and NALCS is tanking the front lines.
It's party time. Here comes Balls as well.
It's a blanket party for Seraph. He just walks in. Look at that hook, though. Shockwave is in. Lemonation sets it up 5-0. Gonna grab more off this one. High just stays alive with the Summoner Heal, and there comes all the kills. The double for Altex, Mordekaiser, Apollo stuck inside on the fountain. And the turrets are gone. The game's going to be over. FlyQuest going to take this one home. The ghost of Ninja to hold them back. And there's the GG. 2-1. FlyQuest take the win over Envy. Mordekaiser undefeated.